Welcome to Learn English Journey. My name is Clara Bennett. I'm 33 years old, and I live in a quiet suburb near Boston. I work as a graphic designer from home, while my husband, John, manages a large construction company in the city. We've been married for 11 years. We have a daughter, Lily, who just turned 8. For a long time, I believed we had built something unshakable. A peaceful home, filled with laughter, routines, and little moments that made life sweet. But lately, I feel as if a shadow has fallen over our house. Something fragile between us has begun to crack. At first, I couldn't define it. It was just a sense, a subtle distance, like a curtain slowly being drawn between two people who once shared everything. John started coming home later than usual. He would walk in with tired eyes, loosen his tie, and barely say a word. Dinner used to be the time we talked about our day, but now it's silent. He eats quickly, stares at his phone, and disappears into his office. I tell myself it's work stress, that he carries too many responsibilities, but deep down, a quiet ache begins to grow. On weekends, he's never really there. Sometimes he says he has meetings. Other times, he goes running with friends I've never met. He spends hours in his study, the door closed. When I knock to bring him tea, he thanks me with a polite smile but doesn't look me in the eye. I used to help him organize invoices and reports. It made me feel connected to his world. But now, he insists on doing everything alone. He says he doesn't want to bother me. Yet, somehow, I feel more excluded than ever. We once had a ritual. Every evening after Lily went to bed, we'd sit on the balcony with cups of chamomile tea and talk about everything. Childhood memories, dreams, silly jokes, our fears. I used to love how his laughter filled the night air. Now the balcony is empty. No tea, no laughter. Only the soft hum of the refrigerator and the loneliness of my own thoughts. One Friday, I sent Lily to spend the weekend with my sister. I thought maybe John and I just needed time alone, away from distractions. I prepared his favorite dinner, roasted chicken with lemon and herbs. I even wore the pale blue dress he once said made my eyes shine. When he walked in, I smiled, nervous but hopeful. He looked at the table, nodded, and said, "Smells good." Then he sat, ate quietly, and went straight to his office without noticing anything else. The sound of the door closing felt like a wall being built between us. That night, I decided I couldn't keep pretending. I waited for him to come out, and when he finally did, I asked softly, "John, can we talk?" He looked surprised. "Now?" "Yes," I said. "Please." We sat on the couch. My hands trembled slightly. I didn't want to argue. I just needed to understand. My voice broke as I said, "You've changed. You don't talk to me anymore. You don't even look at me the same way." He sighed and looked away. "Clara, I'm just tired. Work's been crazy lately." "I know," I whispered, "but tiredness doesn't explain this silence. You're here, but it feels like you're somewhere else." He rubbed his eyes. "Please don't start." "I'm doing my best." I hesitated, then asked the question that had been haunting me for weeks. "Do you still love me?" He turned his gaze toward me, his eyes dull, heavy. "Of course I do. Why would you even ask that?" But something in his tone didn't convince me. His words felt rehearsed, automatic. My throat tightened. Against my will, the next question slipped out. "Is there someone else?" He blinked, startled. "What?" "No! Clara, come on. You know me. I barely have time to sleep, let alone—" He stopped. The unfinished sentence hung between us like smoke. I nodded slowly, pretending to believe him. "Okay," I said. "I'll try to be patient." He reached out and touched my hand. "Thank you. I promise things will get better." But they didn't. Weeks passed. The promises faded. He still came home late, still spent nights locked in his office. I tried everything. Cooking special meals, planning a weekend trip, suggesting a walk by the river where we had our first date. He always said, "Not now, maybe next month." Every rejection chipped a little more from my heart. I began to feel invisible, like a ghost wandering through the rooms of my own home. One evening, after putting Lily to bed, I sat on the sofa surrounded by silence. The glow of the TV flickered across the walls, showing smiling families in commercials that felt like cruel reminders. I picked up an old photo album. There we were, laughing at the beach, holding Lily as a baby, dancing in the kitchen on our first anniversary. My eyes blurred with tears. Where did those people go? A few nights later, I tried again. "Would you like to go for a walk?" I asked gently as he entered. He didn't even remove his coat. "Not now, Clara. I'm exhausted." That night, I waited for him to fall asleep, then sat in the kitchen with a cold cup of tea. I whispered to myself, "Why does love feel so lonely?" The next morning, he left early as usual, without saying goodbye. I stared at the empty side of the bed for a long time. I realized that even though we shared a roof, our lives no longer touched. I wanted to fix it, to fix us, but love can't be one-sided. That evening, as rain tapped softly against the windows, I made a choice. I packed a small suitcase for me and Lily. Before leaving, I wrote him a letter. "John, I still love you, but I can't keep trying alone. I've waited, hoped, prayed for us to find our way back. You said you were tired, and I understood, but I'm tired too, tired of feeling unseen. I need to find the person I was before I disappeared into your silence. I'm not leaving because I hate you. I'm leaving because I need to breathe." I left the letter on the kitchen table beside his empty cup. When I closed the front door, the sound echoed through the hallway like an ending. Lily and I went to my sister's house. A week later, John texted. He said he missed us, that he was sorry, that he wanted to make things right. Against my better judgment, I went back. The house looked the same, yet somehow emptier. For a few days, he tried. He came home earlier, helped with dinner, even smiled once or twice. I started to believe maybe we could begin again. But one evening everything changed. Lily was asleep. John was in the shower. His phone buzzed on the coffee table. I wasn't planning to look. Truly, I wasn't. But the screen lit up. A message preview appeared. "I miss you. Did you think about me today?" My hands turned cold. The room felt smaller, the air heavier. I didn't open the message. I didn't need to. My heart already knew the truth. He came out of the bathroom humming softly, towel around his neck, and smiled as if nothing was wrong. I stared at him, the man I'd built my life around, and for the first time, I felt nothing but quiet disbelief. How could love turn into this emptiness? How could he lie so easily? That night, I lay beside him, listening to his calm breathing while tears ran silently down my face. I thought of every promise, every sacrifice, every moment I chose patience instead of pride, and in that darkness, I understood that sometimes love ends long before we admit it. In the morning, I didn't argue. I didn't confront him with the message. I simply sat at the table, watching sunlight spill across the floor. When he said good morning, I nodded but didn't speak. He didn't notice. He kissed Lily on the forehead and left for work. When the door closed, I exhaled, a sound that was half sigh, half goodbye. That evening, I asked him to sit with me. John, I said calmly, I saw a message on your phone. He froze. For a moment, his face showed everything. Guilt, regret, shame. He didn't deny it. He only whispered, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. And that was when I knew it was real. The distance, the silence, the lies, all of it. I looked at him and said softly, I gave you 11 years of my life. I believed in you more than I believed in myself. But I can't keep living this way. I need time to remember who I am. He nodded, eyes glistening. Please don't go. But I had already decided. Love without honesty isn't love. It's just habit wearing a disguise. That night I packed a small bag again and took Lily's hand. As we stepped outside, the night air was cool, almost gentle, as if the universe was whispering that it was time to begin again. It wasn't a walk away from love. It was a walk toward peace. Now, months later, I'm learning to smile again. Lily and I paint together, cook pancakes on Sundays, and fill our small apartment with laughter. Sometimes I still think about John, about what could have been if things were different, but then I remind myself, healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means forgiving and moving forward. Some endings are really beginnings in disguise. If you like this story, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Learn English Journey, where stories help you feel, reflect, and grow.